Hi everyone, Srijay here and welcome to yet another video of the logic of extremes. Now, while doing the 2025 paper, have you ever thought why UPSC have introduced the word usually in the 43rd question of set A? Why didn't UPSC frame a question in a manner that how many of the above make up battery cathodes? And why did UPSC introduce the word usually here? Now, this is what we are going to explore in this video. I'm going to tell you or I'm going to teach you what to do when extreme words or generalizing words are given in the questions and not in the sentences. Now, moving on to the next question, I will discuss that later. In order to do the logic of extremes, you need to have some form of content with respect to the question, okay? Without any content, you cannot do this logic, and also you need to know about the 1% logic. If you don't know what it is, please refer to the first video with respect to the logic of extremes. Now, moving on to this question, the effect of devaluation of a currency is that it necessarily, now necessarily is the extreme word here, right? And it's given in the heading. Now here, A is the answer here. First of all, does it necessarily, when you devalue a currency, does it necessarily improve the competitiveness of exports? Definitely it improves, right? So therefore this is correct. But can you say that it necessarily leads to the, or necessarily improves the trade balance of a country? What if the country is an importing country and we devalue the currency and we don't export anything? So we have to pay more for the imports, right? So does it necessarily improve the trade balance? No, right? So therefore we can eliminate option C here. And what about 2? Increases the foreign value of a currency? Definitely devaluation decreases the foreign value of a currency, right? So therefore here option A is the answer. Now let's look at the same question when the word necessarily is not there. The effect of devaluation of a currency is that now we can say that it may improve the trade balance, right? The effect of devaluation of currency is that it may improve the trade balance. Now, if the word necessarily was not there, then the answer would have been 1 and 3 only. For the fact that, let's say in terms of India devalued its currency several times, right? Now, after devaluation, the trade balance basically increased because our exports have increased. So because of the word necessarily is there, the answer here became 1 only. And when you remove the word necessarily here, now this is the difference when the word necessarily or be it any extreme word when introduced in the heading makes. Okay, everyone? Now, moving on to the next question. Now here, the question basically says, which of the following has shrunk immensely or dried up? So what is an extreme word here? Immensely or dried up is the extreme word here. Now, the answer here is 1 only. Now, what if the question, the answer here is basically RLC. Now, what if the question did not have the word immensely or dried up? What if the question was just, which of the following has shrunk up in the recent past due to human activities? Can you say that not even a single centimeter of Black Sea has not shrunk? Not even a single 1 centimeter or even 1 millimeter of Lake Baikal has not shrunk. Can you say that? So by using the 1% logic here, if the extreme word such as immensely or dried up is not there, then the answer would have been 1, 2, 3. Therefore, why does UPSC introduce extreme words? It's basically to eliminate our 1% logic so that you can get to a perfect answer. Right? Now, what about this question? The question basically says, in the pressure cooker, the temperature at which the food mainly depends upon. Now, why did UPSC introduce the word mainly here? Do you think it is just for the vocabulary purpose that UPSC have introduced the word mainly? Now, when the word mainly come, can we use our 1% logic and say that the temperature of the flame may 1% affect, or area of the flame may have at least 0.1% effect on the flame, on the temperature? No, we cannot use our 1% logic here because the word mainly is us. Now here, the answer is basically 1 and C for the fact that temperature of the flame does not mainly affect the temperature of the food. Now, what if the word mainly was not there? We can use our 1% logic here, right? And say that, how can UPSC prove that temperature of the flame does not have even 0.0001% impact on the temperature at which the food is cooked upon? Can UPSC prove that? what if your research tomorrow says that the temperature of the flame has a very menial impact on the same? Now, this is why, to eliminate that future research or to be on the safer side, UPSC introduces such extreme words so that the question or the answer is not disputed in the future. Now, let me also say that you have to be very cautious when doing the same. It does not mean that whenever an extreme word is given in the sentence, you should have to eliminate at least one of the options. No, that is what not I am proposing. You have to check whether is there any relation between what is asked in the question and the sentences or the information provided in the question. If you find a direct relationship, then everything will be correct. If you don't have a direct relation between them, then you can make them incorrect. Now, with respect to this question as well, which of the following are some of the important pollutants? Now, this is one of the assumptions to our logic. Now, here the question talks about steel industry. So, can you say that even though the word important is used, can you say that none of the pollutants are not released from steel industry? Or none of the pollutants are important pollutants which are not released from the steel industry? Can you say that? No. That is why in this question, here D is the answer. So here, all the options, be it carbon dioxide, monoxide, oxides, and sulfur, have a direct relation with the steel industry, which is asked in the question here. That is why we go with option D. Now, what if the question had plutonium or uranium, or let's say arsenic, or be it anything? Does the steel industry have direct relation with plutonium, uranium, arsenic, zinc, or be it any other thing? And UPSC have introduced the word important here. In that question, we cannot use our own personal logic and say that how can UPSC say that not even a 0.1% of zinc is not released by steel industry? Because the word important has been asked here, so therefore it has to be important. There has to be a significant content of carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. We can use our 1% logic there. So in that case, we can eliminate zinc, uranium, and plutonium. Okay. And also with respect to this question as well, you can see here, at the present level of technology, which of the above activities can be successfully carried out? Now, successfully is an extreme word here, but don't get carried away by the term successfully, okay? Because drone can be used for spraying the pesticides on a crop field, right? Drones obviously can be used for inspecting the craters of a volcano, right? Obviously can be used. What about collecting breath samples from whales, sprouting whales for DNA analysis? Can UPSC say that it cannot be used? Now, first of all, how did UPSC get this information? Do you think the chairman and the other people can they think about making such an option if such an option does not exist, or if such a fact does not exist? Now, this is the way you have to think. Obviously, there must have been some article with respect to the same in any of the journals, right? Now, that is the only source wherein they'll get the information. They can't make up such an option, right? Obviously, it had to happen. Only then the UPSC or the chairman or the other people who make the question must have heard about the same. Now, that is why even this is possible, right? This is purely possible. Now, that is the reason why here option D is the answer. So, what do you have to do? First of all, look out for the extreme words and think why UPSC introduces such extreme words. In most of the cases, UPSC introduces such words to eliminate our 1% logic. And in case when extreme words are used in heading, it might be to eliminate some of the options. Not in all cases, let me tell you. In the drone question, in the pollution question, that was not the case. In some cases, it might be to eliminate the question. If you don't find a direct relation between the fact asked in the question and what is the content of the question, you can eliminate them. But if you are able to factually connect the options with the fact provided in the question, then you don't have to eliminate any option. You can go for all the above as the answer. Okay? But in my opinion, be very cautious when any extreme word is asked. Think in terms of the extreme word. Does it necessarily increase the trade balance? Now, this is the way you have to think. Okay? So I hope all of you enjoyed the session and have learned how to do when extreme words are given in the question. In the coming video, I'm going to be talking you how to do when extreme words are given in statement and assertion questions. So thank you everyone. Thank you.